Superman, James Gunn's Superman out in theaters. I got a chance to see it. We are going to talk about it. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you have been here before. Appreciate your support as we get started. James Gunn Superman has gotten a lot of attention lately. A lot of people loving it, a lot of people hating it, a lot of people having their integrity and who they are as a person impugned because they loved it or hated it, because a lot of people make a lot of assumptions as to why someone likes or does not like a movie. It didn't used to be that way. We used to be able to talk about movies and have opinions, but it is a whole different world. But let's talk about it now. I got to tell you, I thought it had its moments. I did not hate it, but I also didn't think it was a very good movie. I can see why there are a lot of people who would absolutely love this, and I can see why a lot of people, both Superman fans, comic book fans, why they did not like it, and also just why regular moviegoers might not like it because the script really was kind of all over the place. Now, I want to start with Superman himself because I want to start off on a positive, and really, this is the whole cast. But Superman, I was pleasantly surprised. David Cornsweet, I think, did a fantastic job. I would love to see him as Superman with a good script. I don't think this was that script. I think he would be incredible with a good Superman script. And, again, I'm saying it as someone who, like many others, believe Christopher Reeve as Superman absolutely iconic. I still think that is the best Superman, but David Cornsweet did a fantastic job. But unfortunately, we didn't really get to see him all that much as Clark Kent. You know, uh, Two or three brief scenes, but that was basically it. I wasn't thrilled with that part of the movie. I think he was a little whiny. I did. You probably have already seen it, so I'll mention it because it got out there. That the clip, the interview of Lois Lane and Superman. It didn't play well for me with those two characters and the way they handled it. But that's a minor part when you're looking at the whole movie. But I think that the film falls short in what it was supposed to be about, this idea of hope and this idea of morality, and as James Gunn said, kindness, because it never really tested it. It never really tested it. This didn't seem to be the Superman who truly wrestles with these hard choices, like, say, in Man of Steel or in Superman, the animated series. It's sort of a hollow hero. He talks this talk, but never really walks the walk, if I can use that cliche. But the movie in general, let's talk about pacing. Get away from the Superman thing for a second. The movie itself moves faster than like Flash on Red Bull. It opens up, you're kind of just thrown into it. It opens up with Superman crash landing in the Arctic. He's bloodied, apparently broken bones, as we find out in a couple of minutes. He's I was gonna say he's crawling toward the Fortress of Solitude, but that's not true. He's really kind of lying there, and he has to get crypto, which is of course cool for the comic nerds. Although casual viewers might not know what's going on, but crypto comes and drags him to the Fortress of Solitude, and they get a concentrated dose of the yellow sun to help hear him. But it's kind of like starting the Lord of the Rings at the Battle of Helm's Deep with no context whatsoever. And look, I get that we don't always want origin stories, but I don't know. It just seemed like you really kind of threw everyone into the mix a little too quickly with no context, no idea what it's Superman. Why is Superman crash landing in the Arctic in an absolute bloody pulp? We still don't know how anyone got the best of Superman in that way. They kind of skip all of that. It felt more like flipping through a comic at warp speed. There were some emotional beats. There really was. There was a great scene with his parents, but we never we never stay on it. We never really stay on it long enough to fully digest the emotional weight of these scenes. Everything gets kind of undercut by, some quip, or we're rushing off to the next thing, the next explosion, the next big scene, the next set piece. And it seems like it's so afraid for this movie to be still for a moment that you don't get any chance to feel. There's no chance to feel at all. Uh, Even toward the end, I won't talk about why when Metropolis evacuates. There's like there's nothing. It's just instantly incredibly clean city in a matter of minutes. Millions and millions of people in a matter of minutes are just gone. It's a lifeless world. It seemed like Metropolis had a population more like 12 than millions. And I don't know, it just felt like James Gunn, he wanted this, I don't know, this over the top frenetic energy of a Guardians of the Galaxy, and he forgot that this is Superman and that Superman needs to it needs the grounding, it needs a grounding in it as well. You got to slow down and let the story breathe a little bit. But again, not all doom and gloom. Lois Lane, I thought she was great. Again, for both of them, I thought they were great overall, Lois and Clark. I didn't like that interview scene. I will say that. But some people might. I get it. But I did like her. I thought, especially in this day and age in Hollywood, you really wonder about what the female character is going to be like. But she was confident, she was sharp, but she was also compassionate. She didn't steal anyone's thunder. She didn't elevate. Lois Lane wasn't elevated by tearing down others, especially men. I think we all know how that goes in Hollywood now. She definitely challenges Clark at times when she feels it's warranted, but she also supports him when he's down and things aren't going well. It felt more like the Lois from Lois and Clark, which was good, you know. Um, she wasn't purely just a damsel in distress, but like I said, she also wasn't the awful Hollywood girl boss we've all come to know and let's say not love. You know, I thought Mr. Terrific was, well, terrific, almost. And here's why I say almost. Yeah, he seemed like the adult in the room. It was a good character. You know, while everyone else is playing Fortnite, I thought Nathan Fillion was good, but I think that, you know, I just certain choices sometimes they go over the top. I thought there was a scene about his glasses that was completely unnecessary. But here's the problem I had with the way Mr. Terrific was handled overall within context of Superman. It felt almost more at times like a Mr. Terrific movie. Mr. Terrific's never in danger, always has the upper hand. There was a scene with him and Lois, and he was protecting Lois, and he just took out, I don't even know how many soldiers or, you know, Lex Luthor's Raptors, and I don't think he even got touched, let alone struggled in any way, let alone it being in any doubt that he might win. Whereas Superman spends the whole movie getting beaten up and getting saved by Crypto. The entire movie, Superman is getting beat up. And I mean beat up. I mean, you know, smashed around, broken bones, all of that. Like never saw more of that in all of the Supermans combined than I saw in this movie. Superman's getting his cape handed to him, and Mr. Terrific is strolling through this movie like he can't be touched. He is the ultimate superhero. But don't get me wrong, overall, it was a good character. I just felt it was not really what we wanted in a superhero movie about Superman with what Superman was going through. Eh, Going back to Lois for a minute, I forgot to say, and brace yourselves, but I really felt at times, she channeled a little bit of the spunk from the first lady of Lois Lane, Margot Kidder. Yes, Margot Kidder. I thought there were some moments where I just really, really enjoyed this portrayal of Lois Lane. Did not really care for Jimmy Olsen. I think I know some people love him, but it was kind of bizarre. Lex Luthor, Nicholas Holt, I thought he was almost perfect. I thought he was, and again, this is again goes back to the story, right? The actors, I thought the cast was fantastic. I would love to see this cast with a good Superman script because this wasn't it. They could only do what they could do with the script. So I shouldn't, when I'm saying this about Lex Luthor, it's not about Nicholas Holt's acting or him even being cast. I thought he was great. And you know, when he's moving the chess pieces around and he's playing 3D chess and the others are playing checkers and he's manipulating governments and he's outsmarting everyone, it's awesome. He is the Lex Luthor we all know from all the great portrayals of him and the great stories in the comics. He's got some absolutely amazing scenes. But then there are also times like in the climax where he's just screaming at screens like he's some 12-year-old rage quitting Call of Duty because it's not going well for him. And then Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen was bizarre. I was like, I didn't really know why he was in this movie. He didn't really add anything to it. But instead of this nerdy photographer, although he has the look of it and he acts like it, he's somehow a chick magnet for smoking hot women for no reason whatsoever. And he's oblivious to it, of course. It's like James Gunn's like, hey, let's make Jimmy the MCU's Star Lord, but without any of the charm. It just is a gag that didn't make any sense. There was one plot point with Lex's girlfriend, but that could have easily been done and handled in a different way without Jimmy at all. Anyway, before we wrap up, one thing I did want to point out as an old school Superman guy, and this will be huge for many, and this is where I think this is one of those things where the general audience probably doesn't care, but this is what might instigate a lot of I hated this film, I hated this movie by James Gunn from true Superman fans. And I won't go into the detail of it other than to say that James Gunn's destroyed basically Superman's origin story and his father, his birth father, okay, by something that was added to this movie that just kind of maybe it really took me out of it. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a slap in the face to the character of Superman, to his father, and to all the people who have been Superman fans all of these years. I thought it was actually kind of disgusting. Although based on Guardians 2, it seems like it might be kind of a fetish thing for James Gunn. So that I mean that I can see true Superman fans just saying, even if they loved everything else, that one thing destroyed the movie for them. Anyway, where does this leave us? What am I going to give Superman in terms of a grade? It's not a train wreck. And it's kind of more like a, I don't know, a shiny, colorful rocket, but it crashes because it forgot its fuel. Its fuel being, of course, Superman's heart. There are big themes set up in this movie. The whole do good being a symbol of hope, all of that, but it's never really tested at all. Superman's never really, yeah, he gets beat up a lot, but he's never really cornered or forced to earn his heroism in terms of having to make a truly moral choice. And I'll give you a good example, if I can, from, was it Spider-Man 2? The Tobey Maguire. I think it would, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to sound like an idiot since I love those movies. I think it may be the most perfect. Um, no, maybe it's one. Damn it. Anyway, let me just back up and say this. Tobey Maguire Superman, when the choice has to be made between all the people in the car or um, Mary Jane, right? Of course, we know what he ends up doing, but something like that. There's nothing like that in there. There's no real moment where Superman is cornered with his principles and his morality. I don't want to say on display, but being forced to make a decision that maybe even might be considered the lesser of two evils by someone like Superman. Again, finish up the casting, absolutely stellar. I thought they were all really good. I think it was a well casted film, which, yeah, hey, that's one of the big things that I think Marvel got right all the way up to Endgame. Before everything switched, obviously they couldn't continue forever with the same cast, but that was one of the, and it was one of the reasons a lot of people even stuck through some of the movies that were a little bit more miss than hit. If you are 8 to 12 years old, it's probably going to blow your mind. You're going to love it. It's that type of movie. And by the way, I do think one thing I will add, I think the flying, Superman's flying and how they did it was absolutely fantastic. I did love that as well. For those of us who grew up with the old comments or even Smallville, it might be a little bit more of a gut punch. The Superman just, I don't know. It wasn't a great script. I would give it a 5 out of 10. I think Superman spent the movie getting beat up too much, getting saved by Crypto, getting saved by Lois, getting saved by Mr. Terrific. It was sunk by a script, both too scared to challenge its hero, but also it seemed like by someone who wanted to make Mr. Terrific the star of the movie and not Superman. Hopefully, Gunn gets better with the storytelling. I assume there's going to be a second one, or at least this Superman is going to be in future DC movies. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did this Superman soar for you? Did the Superman crash for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't as well. I really do appreciate it. And hey, look, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I think I want all these movies to be great. I don't want to be like, oh, the Superman sucked, because I want a Superman movie to be great. But I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video. Subscribe to the channel, help us get growing, and I will talk to you later.